Hello guys and welcome back to the Artist in Residency. I'm Asha, if you didn't already know, and we've made it to my birthday. Hey, it is my solar return today, and like I said in the previous catch up that I had with you guys, I'm not able to finish my painting on my actual birthday. But like I was saying before, it's also a very beautiful thing for me because it means that actually I can be more in the process. But with that being said, I'm back with another session. I didn't manage to paint yesterday or for like the past couple of days actually, because I've really been in the headspace where I've just wanted to slow down and be present. And I feel like naturally as human beings we can get ourselves into routines very quickly where we start to almost turn our passions into commodities in a way, and I really want to be a little bit more conscious of that. So I just told myself over the past few days that I really wanted to just like slow right down and get out of the habit of trying to killjoy my creativity. And I think it was really necessary, to be honest. Like, it really feels so beautiful to literally like just sit and do absolutely nothing. It just gives you the time and the space to just recognize that you are who you are and you're where you're at in that moment, and you are enough. Do you know what I mean? I think, and it goes back to some of like what I've spoken about previously, but I think sometimes we tell ourselves that, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and then I would then be rewarded, or then I would then feel validated. And I'm really trying to like shift out of these habits, you know, especially because now this is now my year one. I finished like a 9-year cycle. So it's really important for me to not take old habits and like toxic conditionings that I've picked up in the past and then bring them into the new. No. So I'm really starting to get very like vigilant on what's coming with me in this next chapter and what isn't. And I just feel like there's something about me coming back to my true essence. And by that, I just mean like nurturing my feminine sides and, you know, feeling that I am more than enough whilst being in my feminine energy, and just like really taking things as they come and being soft and delicate, really taking my time. You know, there is no such thing as rushing. For me in this new chapter, I don't want to rush anything. Actually, I want to be very intentional. And I think for you to feel that space and to be in those moments and movements, you really have to give yourself the time without feeling like you're constantly on pressure and that you have to do something. I don't think I'm the type of person that likes to work from stress or panic. No, I'm not. So for me, it really is important for me to build that environment for myself going forward and going ahead and just trusting in that. And I love the person that I'm becoming now. I love the person that has boundaries and knows what she wants and isn't wavering on anything or isn't second guessing anything. It's almost like the whole 9 years has taught me about conditions, actually the conditions that are healthy for me, and where it is that I need to implement boundaries with specific situations or people or even myself. So I think this whole 9 years has just been like a really like deep reflection of being in the shit, but having that shit then reflected back at me so that I can then do something about it. And I just feel like the past weeks, like leading up to my birthday and like being in this in residency, has just shown me a lot. Like, it's shown me a lot, and I just really appreciate that I can just get to this moment without thinking that, oh, you're just chasing your tail and you're just going around and round in circles and you're just following the motions. That's not true. Because I think if that was the case, I really wouldn't be amending, or like I really wouldn't be trying to fine tune actually what does this Asha like and what doesn't she? I think I would happily just go along chasing the string, and I feel so much better within myself just about everything, positives and the negatives. Not that they are sitting in conflict with each other, but I think just being able to love on myself wholly and like truly and deeply without beating myself up about, you know, comparing or like I need to be here. No. And also like the dark parts about myself as well. I'm really starting to notice the more that I own those parts is the better I feel about myself. And they're not parts that should be scolded by me or by anyone, actually, because they're just as good as my positive parts. And actually, you would see the ripple effects of what my negative parts have when I'm in certain situations and why I actually have those parts. And I'm not trying to defend certain characteristics, because it's for me to understand how I play with those and like when they need to show up and where they need to take a chill pill. I'm not trying to bypass anything, but I think it's just mastering yourself. I think that's what it takes to master yourself. And if you don't choose to sit with the negative sides of yourself, sometimes I feel like those attributes will run riot and you will start to point your finger at those certain characteristics, but actually those certain characteristics need to be glorified in a way. You need to acknowledge those certain characteristics or personality traits, because they're just as valid. They actually mold you into the person that you are. So yeah, it's almost just like I say, becoming aware of those things, noticing what makes you feel bad about those things, and then just pivoting just ever so slightly. And then also leaning into where your mind is not your best friend, because I feel like your mind can definitely be your number one cheerleader, but it could also be the opposite. And sometimes I feel like my mind can chat a lot of shit, stuff that I don't even genuinely believe in, but I think because it's just conditioned to constantly be entertained and like constantly pump fear, then I do believe that sometimes my mind can actually be the devil's advocate. And I think even learning how to maneuver that space as well is also pretty tricky, because sometimes your mind will have you believe that what it's thinking is right, and that's not always the case. Hence why I bought the book Don't Believe Everything That You Think. It's really important to understand and like what Joseph says, to understand what are thoughts and what is thinking. And like sometimes your thinking is just like unconscious, like very just like, I'm gonna pull the most horrible situation and now it's gonna be a program and we're just gonna run that because why not? So yeah, I think sometimes I feel like it's been beneficial for me to really understand what are programs versus what are thoughts, and notice where I'm actually feeding into those thoughts and like making them turn into something that they don't actually need to be. It's very important. So yeah, all that to say is that I'm learning so much about myself, and yeah, I have a strong foundation of who it is that I want to be in the next chapter. And I'm not saying that I'm not that person, because I am, but what I am saying is that there is resistance that needs to be let go of. You know, there is resistance within myself and tension within myself that kind of needs to be shed so that I can see my own light. Because naturally I feel like there are programs that block you for some reason, out of fear or shame or judgment, whatever. It can be whatever. So I think it's just me building comfort in those things and pushing those boundaries and breaking myself open and like taking my head and then trying to sit that into my heart space where I'm open. You know, I'm an open book and I'm open to everything, and I'm recognizing that everything and everyone and every situation is me and vice versa. It's a constant feedback loop, you know, there's no separation. And I think previously my mind would have me think there's separation. which then comes the conditioning, which then comes the judgment, which then comes the comparisons. And I'm really trying to revert back to my natural ways of just like sitting in my heart and recognizing that everything is one. And I think it's easy to talk about, but the hardest part for me is embodying that. And I really want to hold myself accountable for embodying, just sitting more in my heart space. So less thinking, more being. And I think painting really helps me to get into that space, and recognize also like what's for me and what's not for me. So yeah, I just feel like when you are in your heart space, I think things tend to flow a lot more easier. You don't really come at it from the aspect where it's just like, okay, well, I kind of need to get through A, B, and C. And you don't really anticipate so much. You let life come to you, and you let life work for you as well. And I guess you're just the person that's sitting in the driver's seat being like, yes, no, yeah, this feels within ease, this feels in dis-ease. And I'm really starting to get into the habit of really enjoying when things start to feel ease, you know. I'm shying away from anything that tends to feel more like friction or more like conflict or confrontation, because it doesn't need to be. And that's not the reality that I'm trying to shape. So yeah, it's more just like trialing and erroring. And yeah, all that to say, like, I've had such a beautiful morning so far. And something that keeps on coming up as well, especially within the past year, is that it really is the little things. And uh, I don't know why, but I just feel like that sentence always makes me like quite emotional inside, because it makes me notice that it truly is the littlest things in life that are the biggest things for me anyway. Where, you know, whether or not it's my sister that's buying me like a bunch of roses and like blowing up balloons in the living room, or like me going to Asda up the road and buying myself a croissant, you know. It's just, and the croissant was so good. It was just, and this was Asda. This wasn't even a bakery, but the croissant was so good, you guys. I just, it just hit like all, you know, when you eat something, yeah, and when you digest it, you're literally just like, oh my God, that was chef's kiss. Like, that was just incredible. I don't know if it's just because my birthday or whatever, but the way that that croissant was just like, it was perfection. It was perfection. Like, just the littlest things anyway. So I went to just go and get my sister just some treats as like a little thank you. Because yeah, I'm literally like crashing at her house for now and doing this artist in residency, and like, yeah, she's putting up with me. So I was just like, oh, let me just get her like a little something, because she really likes, like, you know, just like the little chocolate treats and sweets and stuff. But we're gonna have a good time later. But yeah, I'm just having a really great time. And then also, I was listening to a Virgo reading. When was it? Maybe yesterday or the day before. And the lady who had uploaded the video, I had left a comment on her video, and she replied to me, and she replied such a sweet message, just like wishing me like a happy solar return. And like, she said some really like heartfelt things, and it just made me realize that like it's so easy to be kind to people. And I just really loved what that reminded me of. And I just really appreciate when people share what's on their heart, and especially when it's coming from a place of overfill, where they're not sharing to receive. And I've noticed that previously, like, old Asha has been conditioned by so many things that you have to give in order to receive. And I'm really trying to like bop that on the head and just be like, actually, no, you don't. And like, that's not how I want to be. I really want to be, like I said, like in this energy of just like, no, I give from overflow. I'm not looking to receive anything. Like if I receive something amazing, like that's just a cherry on top, but that's not what I'm not trying to do an action for another action. No, like I just want to give because in that moment I felt like giving. And I've just noticed that previously, and especially in like romantic relationships or even friendships, I was very much in tune and in alignment with, oh no, I have to give to receive. So let me give, expecting that other person to then give back to me. And like, that was just like, that was a no-go. Doesn't work like that, guys. Does not work like that. But yeah, it's just noticing these subtle behavior patterns that were programmed in me that have come from whether or not it's my parents or like seeing people maneuver their relationships or friends or whatever. It just made me realize that actually, no, I am very much in the energy of just like, if my heart wants to give, then it wants to give. It's not looking to be validated by anyone or anything. And I think that's a really like wholesome point in my life to be at, and one that I'm really appreciating. And still, yeah, I still need to like condition myself and educate myself. Like it hasn't been easy in the past, and I think there are so many mistakes that I made in the past because I just feel like I wasn't maturing enough in that space, or didn't really have the right terminology to express myself, whatever, you know. But I think now I'm just in this place where I'm just like, I just want to love. Like, I just want to love without placing conditions on anything, anyone, including myself. And I just want to love myself so hard, which I feel like I'm building myself up to do that. But yeah, I just want to go in on myself. And yeah, which takes me to like what I'll be doing later. So I'm gonna be, after my painting session, I'm then gonna write myself a nice little love letter and then probably share it with you guys at some point. And then I'm gonna do an hour meditation, and then that's it. That's it for my solar return. So like nothing crazy, but I feel like it's just filled with all of the right thrills for me personally. And that's all I could ever want. Yeah, I'm a bit of a loner. Actually, no, not even a bit. I am a loner. But I really like it. Really love it. I think that's what comes with being a hermit. Virgo vibes. But anyway, ranting on. Sorry if this bored you, but not sorry either. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Take care. Bye.